All right, time for the Week 11 best bets. Let's get to it. 5 games I like in this Week 11, so spreading it around a little bit this week. I'd like to go through them all now quickly, starting with the Detroit Lions traveling to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. Detroit a 1-point favorite on BETDAQ. I do like the Steelers here as a short home underdog. I think Detroit's a little bit overvalued right now. I don't think they're quite as good as their record would indicate. And Pittsburgh has gotten it together. They're currently 3-6, only 2 games back of Cincinnati in first place in the AFC North. I think people's opinion of Pittsburgh is a little bit distorted after that game 2 weeks ago when they allowed 55 points to the New England Patriots. Since that game, I've heard some people throwing around the word bad in describing Pittsburgh's defense, and that's just not accurate. As a matter of fact, if you remove that game, the Steelers have one of the best 3 or 4 defenses in the league statistically. Even with that game, they still rank in the top 5 in the NFL in pass defense. So not sure that Detroit offense is going to go up and down the field in this game the way many people seem to think they will. And on the other side of the ball, the Lions really struggle in the secondary, 27th in the NFL in passing defense. And we know this Pittsburgh offense is built around the passing game, Ben Roethlisberger, and those excellent wide receivers, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders. And the Pittsburgh offense has picked it up over the last couple of weeks. This is no longer a bad offense. A lot of people think it is. They actually rank top half of the league now in total offense. They have combined for 54 points in their last 2 games. So they're moving in the right direction. They have a defense in Detroit that they're going to be able to move the ball against. I like Pittsburgh's chances to get the win at home. Next game I'd like to talk about, another AFC North team, the Baltimore Ravens, going on the road to face the Chicago Bears. Bears a 3-point favorite on BETDAQ. And again, I'm siding with the AFC North team. I like Baltimore +3. I actually think the Ravens are ready to go on a little bit of a mini run. They currently sit at 4-5, but they've been playing very well on the defensive side of the ball. Not sure a whole lot of people realize that. I think many people wrote off the Baltimore defense after week 1 when they allowed 49 points to the Denver Broncos. But since then, in their last 8 games, they have not allowed a single opponent to score more than 24 points. They currently rank 8th in the NFL in points allowed. Chicago has been good offensively this year, but Josh McCown, backup quarterback, will be in this week in place of the injured Jay Cutler. And McCown's been all right in limited action this season, but again, Baltimore has been very good defensively. Chicago failed to score 20 points last week against a soft Detroit Lions defense, or I shouldn't say soft, a Detroit Lions defense that struggles against the pass. So this is a step up this week facing the Ravens. I don't expect Chicago to have a whole lot of offensive success, and I'm really concerned about the Bears' defense. As a matter of fact, the reason I like this matchup so much is because I think the Baltimore offense is going to have a lot of success in this game, and I know that would be different based on what we've seen this season. The Ravens have struggled offensively, but Chicago, very, very bad on the defensive side of the ball. 27th in the league in points allowed, and they're really banged up right now. Going to be without their 2 best defensive players on Sunday, linebacker Lance Briggs, cornerback Charles Tillman. So I think the Ravens are finally going to be able to get something going offensively. I think their defense is going to keep playing well, and I expect them to beat the Bears outright in Chicago. But I will take the 3 points. You never know when they might come in handy. Next game I'd like to talk about, the Arizona Cardinals coming to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. Arizona a 9.5-point favorite on BETDAQ, and I am all over the Cardinals. The Fade the Jags train is back on the rails after a 1-week pit stop. I realize Jacksonville won last week on the road against Tennessee, but if you watch that game, in a lot of ways they look like the same old Jaguars. Only totaled 214 yards of offense. Arizona has an excellent defense, top half of the league in both yards allowed and points allowed. They're especially good against the run. The Cardinals 3rd in the NFL against the run. And Jacksonville, now they're without Justin Blackmon, their best offensive player for the rest of the season. You saw him last week against Tennessee. It was a run-heavy game plan, very conservative. That will just not work against the Arizona Cardinals. Not like it worked last week. Again, they only gained 214 total yards on offense. They've yet to score a touchdown at home this season. I'm talking about the Jaguars. They're last in the NFL in yards per game and points per game. So again, I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball at all on Arizona. And even though the Cardinals haven't been great offensively this year, the Jaguars last in the NFL in points allowed. Remember, this is a really, really bad team. So I think the Cardinals are a good bet as a 9.5-point favorite. I think Jacksonville's win last week has created just enough value here where you should jump on Arizona. I'm sure if the Jags had lost last week, this line would be maybe 12 or 13, something like that. Next game I'd like to talk about, the Houston Texans hosting the Oakland Raiders. Houston now a 10-point favorite on BETDAQ. This line has moved a little bit, probably because it has been learned over the last 24 hours that Oakland quarterback Terrell Pryor will miss this game. That means undrafted rookie Matt McGloin be at quarterback for the Raiders. Oakland's best offensive player, Darren McFadden, also going to miss the game, so the Raiders have little to no hope on offense against the Texans, who lead the NFL in both total defense and passing defense. This Houston defense has played very well all season. The offense has not held up their end of the bargain, which is why the Texans have lost 7 straight games. Now, you look at the Texans a little closer, especially the last 3 weeks since Case Keenum has been in the lineup. They've played 3 winning teams, and they've nearly won all of those games. A lot of pent-up frustration there in Houston. Really feel like they're going to let it all out on Sunday. I think they're going to blow out the Oakland Raiders. I think Houston is a good bet here, even though they're now a double-digit favorite. Hard to believe you're liking a 2-7 team, a team that's lost 7 straight games, when that team is a double-digit favorite. And for that reason, a lot of people lumping on the Oakland Raiders this week, but I think that is the wrong side. I think this is set up for a Houston blowout. I am on Houston -10. Last game I'd like to talk about, the Green Bay Packers traveling to New York to face the Giants. Giants a 4-point favorite on BETDAQ, and I do like the Giants side here. Green Bay starting Scott Tolzien at quarterback this week, and you look at the Green Bay offense as is presently constructed, with Tolzien at quarterback, without Randall Cobb, their best receiver, without tight end Jermichael Finley. I believe that right now they could be one of the worst offenses in the NFL. And that's unusual. Obviously, you look at the numbers, and they rank top 10 in total offense, passing offense, points scored. But, of course, that's with Aaron Rodgers under center. You saw this offense only produced 13 points last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, who rank last in the NFL in total defense. And I just don't have much faith in them on the road against the Giants. You know, people don't realize, but the Giants have been playing well on defense recently. In their 3-game winning streak here, they're holding the opposition to 11 points per game. The Giants now rank 11th in the NFL in total defense. So top half of the league, that defense moving in the right direction. They have had problems offensively, but Green Bay certainly not a great defense. 18th in the league in points allowed. Giants still top half of the league in pass yards per game. So they've still been somewhat functional on offense. It's not like they have not been able to move the ball at all. I do like the Giants as a 4-point favorite over the Packers. Think they're going to pick up their 4th straight win. The Giants back from the dead now after starting the season 0-6. Again, if they can pick up the win on Sunday, which I think they're going to be able to, they'll either be only a game back of first, which they are now, or they could even be tied for first in the NFC East if Dallas and Philadelphia both lose. So there you have it. Those are my 5 games. I like Pittsburgh +1 against the Detroit Lions, Baltimore +3 against the Chicago Bears, Arizona -9.5 against Jacksonville, Houston -10 against the Oakland Raiders, and the New York Giants -4 against the Green Bay Packers. I wish you best of luck this week in whatever you decide to do, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests.